I just made a new merch store, so if you need a hat with a ghost on it, there you go. Hey everybody, it's LavenderTowne. And I feel like everybody nowadays knows about cat girls and even puppy girls and this whole concept of adding animal attributes onto a cute girl. But today I really wanted to see what would happen if I took some, let's say, less popular animals and gave them the same treatment. So starting off with a leech, I just really thought that a leech girl might be really cute. You know, I wanted to give her kind of a medical vibe because leeches were used for a long time to supposedly cure a variety of maladies, especially when people believed in the four humors. They thought a lot of illnesses and mental illnesses were caused by too much blood, so they thought, well, you know what we could do? We could just stick a leech on them. So our little leech girl is definitely in the medical field. I decided to give her kind of a hood over her head just to show more of the shape of how a leech's face kind of looks. If you look at their mouths and everything, it's really just one big dark circle filled with all of these very razor sharp rows and rows of razor sharp teeth, and a lot of the pictures of leeches that I looked up had sort of almost yellowy kind of teeth, so I'm going to be using mainly a yellowy color with a lot of dark swampy tones. I wanted her dress to look kind of like a vintage nurse's dress, like I said, because of their perhaps inappropriate medical use, and I also wanted to add in lots of little silhouettes of how leeches actually look, like their actual bodies, so I sort of made that kind of shape around the bodice of the dress. I wanted her to look kind of slimy as well. Leeches are, they're always living in water, and a lot of water passes through their skin, so she had to look kind of wet. And I really tried to lean into this color palette with this kind of disturbing candy color yellow teeth, and then a lot of just darker, swampier colors with the brightness of her nurse's dress to give a little contrast to this design. I also put some little bandages and stuff on her legs, mainly again to lean into that sort of medical theme, and also because leeches do leave little injuries on you if you ever actually get bitten. I have had leeches on me before when I was younger, and it was quite horrifying. They don't have a proboscis or anything like mosquitoes do, but they will latch onto you and drink as much blood as they can while they're on whatever warm-blooded creature they've happened to find themselves on. I also did a little sketch of her enjoying a little blood pack, and I just wanted to show her with her hood down as well. I thought that would be cute, and I put a little decal on her shoe that looks like the mark that's left behind if a leech actually bites you. It's this strange Y shape. So yeah, definitely let me know if you have a name for her. I think she turned out really adorable, don't you? So the next creature I wanted to give the cat girl treatment to is a piranha. I was trying to think of a variety of different animals that people are scared of, and I thought we should go from a parasite to a carnivore. Now, piranhas are very famous because by themselves they're really not that scary. They're very small, but in a crowd they have this reputation that they could skeletonize you, or there's also a rumor that they could skeletonize a whole cow or something in seconds. Those rumors are not really true, supposedly, but still it is very impressive how a whole shoal of piranhas can do a shocking amount of damage considering they are just very, very small. They have incredibly powerful jaws, and their lower jaw is sort of sticking out and full of very very sharp teeth. So I definitely wanted to feature this kind of underbite as heavily as I could because it's such a major feature of a piranha. And there are a few different species of piranha, but because the most well-known type is the red-bellied one, I'm definitely going to use that as my color cue for this. I also wanted to make her look really tiny and cute, because piranhas are very small, at least for fish. And I gave her a few little silhouette choices that I felt would work with a piranha. I gave her these little like strands of hair that sort of stick out, almost to kind of mimic the C-shaped gills that they have. And I also gave her these little spiky shoes because, again, I think that their teeth are really the biggest, most noticeable point, as well as the fact that they're they're very bright little bellies. I wanted that to be a major feature of her little like sweater dress that she's wearing, and I tried to sort of show her having the piranha, I guess the like fins on the side of her head. Most like CATGIRLs or CATGIRL styled characters have their ears changed, so I thought, you know, for a piranha that doesn't really have any noticeable ears, I would just stick in some fins, just to keep that sort of design language going. And again, I wanted to do a quick little sketch on the side of her chomping down on some sort of delicious meat, because the skeletonization sort of rumor about them is such a huge part of why people are afraid of piranhas. I really wanted to show her just like tearing the meat off the bone of some unfortunate creature, so I definitely wanted to include that. Generally, I think she would be one of those people who's very, very quiet and off on her own until she's in a big group, and then she becomes extremely rambunctious, and also she has an enormous appetite despite her tiny size. Next up is the tarantula. Now, a lot of people are afraid of spiders, and I know for me personally, I'm actually much more afraid of smaller spiders because I grew up in Black Widow territory. So those little shiny type spiders actually freak me out a lot more than their bigger, fuzzier cousins. However, I do know that for severe arachnophobes, tarantulas are pretty upsetting because they are so huge. So I wanted to make a tarantula girl. Now, I knew a focal point for this character design is the legs. I think that the way that spiders move and their like skittering and their large amount of legs is one of the reasons that people are afraid of them. So I really wanted this to be a focal point, and I decided that I would basically make that silhouette in her hair. I think that turned out pretty effective. It's pretty clear what she's supposed to be, and I also wanted to do something that I think is pretty avoided when it comes to like catgirl style characters. Even though they're literally catgirls, you don't often see them with any sort of like hair on their body, which is interesting because even humans have, like, you know, leg hair. You'd think that if they were a fuzzy kitty that they might have some hair, but I think maybe that would take it too far into furry territory for a lot of people. But with this tarantula, she's definitely very fuzzy all over, on her arms and her legs. I think it actually made her look more cute and cuddly in the end. So I'm not sure if this was a success because I did want them to be a little creepy. But I ended up giving her some like fuzzy boots as well as mittens, or I guess they're just gloves. The tarantula I was looking at for reference had this beautiful little like orange tipped kind of arms. So I really wanted to have that like overall brown color with lots of little pops of orange, and I wanted to give her orange gloves as well. I tried to make her just a little bit, not like chubby, but like a little bit chunkier and bulkier than some of my earlier characters, just because tarantulas do have like a sort of chunkiness to them, especially compared to their much more spindly relatives. So I wanted her to look a little bit more bulky, and I guess she looks kind of strong actually, which makes sense because there are some tarantulas that can like eat birds. So that definitely tracks. And I tried not to make her face look too adorable. I didn't want her to look like Muffet or anything from Undertale. I wanted her to look a bit creepier and more arachnid-like, but I think I'm just fond of this 8-eye thing because I think her face still looks pretty cute. In her little side sketch, I just wanted to show her knitting. Obviously, spiders make webs, so this is something that I definitely wanted to include, and I thought it would be really cute for this relatively strong and bulky looking character to have a very dainty hobby like knitting, so it all kind of worked out beautifully. I really love how her hair turned out and her overall fuzziness. I think it's really cute. Next up, I wanted to have a flying creature because we didn't have any yet. So I decided to go with the vampire bat. Vampire bats are also bloodsuckers, which I think we as humans just have, we have a problem with it. We have a lot of vampire lore and a lot of fear of anything that drinks our blood. It kind of makes sense, I guess, because blood is sort of your life force, and so it's quite disturbing for a parasite to be consuming it off of you. So vampire bats are very feared, just like leeches. Vampire bats are really interesting. I was reading in the Wikipedia about them for more sort of ideas of things to add to this character design, and I found out that unlike a lot of other bats, which mainly don't traverse the ground at all, vampire bats can apparently sort of like lope along the ground, like on their little hand wing thing and their feet, and that just sounded so terrifying to me. But anyway, I really wanted this character to be a little bit more shy and mousy looking, but with sort of a yandere kind of vibe. Vampire bats have this like leaf-shaped nose that a lot of bats actually have. It's considered sort of the less cute bat face compared to like a fruit bat, which looks more like a little puppy dog. But I think that she still has a relatively cute face. I definitely wanted her to look tiny because they're really not very big. In fact, a lot of these creatures that we're afraid of are actually quite small, I realized. But despite her small stature, I wanted her to look sort of like bulked up in the center, just because vampire bats have a very like round shape, like they could kind of fit in your palm. So I added a lot of bulk to her like sweater, and I tried to make the sweater sleeves actually like really bulky, so they kind of almost look like the silhouette of a bat's wings. I also was self-indulgent and I just added some bat wings to her back. It's kind of, this is almost leaning into like that anime sort of styling, but I don't know, I think it's cute. And I added in the teeth that vampire bats actually seem to have. I was looking at their mouth, and it seems like they actually have two really close sharp teeth, and then two that are actually like kind of where you'd expect a vampire to have them. So it's like four really sharp teeth, extremely sharp teeth. And I gave her these little socks mainly just to look cute, but also because vampire bats are brown and white. They have like white kind of on their like lower belly kind of region, so I just thought that I'd put in a pop of white. And of course I gave her glasses because we didn't have any characters with glasses, and also vampire bats, as well as most other bats, don't have great eyesight. That's why they use echolocation so much, and they're always hunting at night, so she really can't see that well most of the time. And yeah, there she is. She has a little blood slurpee on the other side. She can probably hang out with Leech Girl and go to dinner together. So here's my little group of not quite cat girls. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me design them, and definitely let me know if you have any names for them. I'm very fond of them and I expect I will draw them again. So yeah, thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much to my wonderful patrons, including Forrest Spookable, Michaela, Random Thoughts, Vegish, Tom the Chicken, it's Jamal, Kayla Grimes, Rodrigo, Neurocherry, Kelly Halsey, Kubo, Moomilk, Alani the Artist, Rylan Parker, Raylan, Kadaria, Something Super, Deadly Nightshade Art, Maria Vasquez, Astral Fox Art, Middle Z, Milky Bat, Lilia Lur, The Expressive Poker Face, Morrissey Axolotl, Tsubaki, Liliana Hammondtree, Michael Lavalley, Cutie Pie, Rainwater Pearls, Ice Cream Pal, Cola, Your Boy ST, JJ Jade, and of course, La Blah Blah Blah.